Happy Thrifty Thursday, everybody. Wanted to show you some fabric scores that I got at a local thrift shop a couple of weeks ago. I spent most of this week organizing it, going through it, laundering it, folding it, separating the things I know I won't use, and want to show you guys the rest. So this is just a little part of it right here. These are the two largest pieces. Actually, I have a much larger eyelet piece, but this is probably 6 or 7 yards of shamrock fabric. And here's a very 90s looking Christmas fabric. I don't know whether or not I'm gonna use these or not. I might pass these on to someone else. My mom actually makes quilts, so I'm letting her go through all of this as well. And then there were some very old nylon lace knitting. So if you guys have ideas on what to use this for other than just lace pockets, I like the pink. I'm not a huge fan of the green, but I don't know. And then there were little things in there like the padding that you would use on a soft cover journal. So that's neat. So here is most of the rest of it. It is mostly 80s, early 90s, but there are a few things in here that are most definitely 70s. So I'm very excited about it. I tried to organize it by color before I washed it. That's why everything looks so blue on top, just in case things were gonna bleed. But several of the pieces in here are this quilted, puffy quilted material. So that's basically a journal cover built in, all ready to go. So that was neat. This one to me looks kind of retro kitchen because of the rooster. But yeah, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with this. Then we have a lot of gingham in here. Obviously this person, like me, is a huge fan of gingham. So here's some with flowers. And sorry, I'm just gonna try to go through this with holding the phone. This is a corduroy plaid. There are a lot of calicos in here. I don't know if the person was a quilter. I think they might have dabbled in quilting, but also made some clothes, because there is a skirt in here that's lacking only the bottom hem, but there are a lot of tiny florals. Some of this reminds me of feed sack. This is one of my favorite types of calico. It's very 80s, love it. There's more gingham, light blue with dark blue gingham. Here's more of that quilted. This is a muslin. This feels like some sort of sleepwear fabric. It's flame retardant feeling, but there's still probably a lot of cool things I can do with it. This is one of the ones that I thought looked 70s. We have tiny rosebuds, more tiny rosebuds. This is one of the ones that I thought looked 90s. It's got purple and pink calico flowers. This is amazing. I love the hearts. There's some pink. This would be perfect for the strawberry journal that's on my horizon. We have some coral. I didn't keep a lot of the plain fabrics just because I like printed better. But for ruffles, this is a really neat gauzy type fabric that I can make cool ruffles out of. There's a peach gingham, a bright yellow, and you really don't see many yellows anywhere in paper or in fabric, and it's one of my favorite colors, so I kept it even though it was plain. This person, I thought this was a butterfly at first, but I found instructions for making a fabric pumpkin, so it looks like they started and didn't finish. And then there's red ticking type stripe. This is very 80s. Here's some green. This is the skirt. It's very textured, very thick, but it's bright lime. And then we have this duck cloth type. This is one of those nursery pillows that is ready to be just cut out and stuffed. I thought that would be cute for a baby journal. I can't go all the way to the bottom, but you get the picture. It's just a lot of fabric. There's the eyelet I was talking about that I have so much of. And it's not a very wide piece. I think it's only 42 inches wide. So I asked my mom and my mother-in-law what that might have been used for, and they guessed either cafe curtain type things or maybe a little girl's dress or pinafore, where it would just be an overlay over a color. But I love eyelet. When I was a teenager, my mom redid my entire room with white eyelet, so it's just classic. So yes, I want you to guess how much I paid for all of this. Not to mention the stuff already bagged up that I'm gonna probably not keep. So there were a few pieces on top, and I asked if I could just get those out and pay for those, but there was no price. And the guy said, how about you just take the whole tote for $10? So I about fell on the floor, but I took it knowing that I would not keep all of it, but was very excited about that. I thought that was a steal. So very grateful for this find. So also in the box of fabric were just a few other random items. Several pieces of trim. This is a cotton crocheted trim that I washed, but now I need to iron it. And then there were several other laces and trims that were just loose, so I wrapped them all onto cards. We've got Santa and a Christmas with eyelet trim. These are just strips of the seersucker rosebud fabric. This looks coffee dyed, but I think it's just old. So I don't have to dye that one. And this is another just crochet type trim. And then also in the box were a lot of napkins and tablecloths and things like that. Some of them were in bad shape. They had very bad staining. I was not able to get it out. So like on these napkins, I actually have some like this. I bought them right after my husband and I got married about 22 years ago. So that, I don't think they're any older than that, but it's just this Battenberg lace corner. So because the rest of the napkin was in bad shape, I just cut these off to use in journals. Trying to conserve space, which is what I need desperately right now. So I'm really trying to pare down what I know I will use and what I won't. These are napkins as well. It's like a brocade type fabric that feels like 100% cotton. I think it is. The color is pretty. I mean, it's a faded vintage looking ivory, but I wonder if I could dye one of them just to give it a little more fun. I don't know. And then there were 3 handkerchiefs in here. These, I don't know if these are ecru or they're just really stained. And then there's one just like it that's a bright white. Again, I thought maybe about dyeing them, but I don't know. And then this was a table, it's not a runner, it's maybe a dress or scarf because it only has embroidery on one side, but it is linen. And then there was a lot of muslin, and when I washed it and dried it, this turned out so cool that I think I might just leave it like this and make ruffles out of it, wrinkled. So in the box with all of this were things like instructions on how to make these quilt circles. So I just kept those. I'm gonna turn these into ephemera. Really old receipts. This is from '84. I guess that's not that old. This is from a store called Needlewoman Fabrics, which I don't think we have near here. So I don't know where this person lived. I always wonder how things end up at thrift stores, especially when you open a book or something and it's like from the other side of the country. You just kind of wonder its story on how it got there. But yeah, I love the red and white. I guess it used to be white, red and ivory. This was a bag that was in there with some trim. Again, I've never heard of this bookstore, but it has a Hallmark crown, so maybe it was a Hallmark franchise. And then, of course, my favorite fabric store, the Piece Good Shop. I grew up being in this store at least once a week. And they had a very strong Christian foundation and Christian message. They also had tables at the back with comic books for the husbands, which was really funny. My dad would go in there with my mom and sit back there and read comics while she shopped. But yes, this bag is just, to me, a precious keepsake. I will hold on to that. And then I also kept the Needlewoman Fabrics bag logo. And this is another fabric store. My mom says she does remember this brand or retail chain. I don't. But I think they were also known as something else in certain parts of the country. So if any of these sound familiar to you, or you have memories of any of these, please let me know. I love vintage retail. I love retail history. I've always had a fascination with it, especially when it comes to sewing retail. So yes, all of the things that you see here, plus this random book that's just thrown in here with cross-stitch designs. I got it for $1. All of these will be items that I can use in my sewing journals, which I will be starting on probably this weekend or the first part of next week. Right now, my goal is to purge and clean out and reorganize my supplies. I found that most of my time was wasted looking for things that I didn't know where they were, because every time I clean up my stuff, I don't have a craft room, so I work in our family open area. So every time I cleaned it up, I would put it in a different location. And so I'd spend most of my time looking for these things. And of course, going through things that are like, why am I still keeping this? Why haven't I made something out of this yet? So I spent one whole day just making fabric flowers out of scraps that I had in a box. So that is what is on the horizon. Again, I still have the spring sale going on in my Etsy shop. Please head over and share this video and share the sale with those you think might be interested. There are, I think, 12 journals available, maybe more. No, there are 12 journals on sale, and then I just listed some VHS journals as well. So all of that is available in the shop. And thank you so much for watching today. Head over, please, to Turquoise Dreaming to see the other Thrifty Thursday videos submitted by other ladies across the nation and the world who love to go thrift shopping. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great afternoon.